Hi everyone, this is Robin, the Sudoku guy, with session number 13, and in this tutorial I want to show you a puzzle where I've designed it to enable you to see a pattern. Now there are many patterns that we can pick up, and so sometimes these patterns will help you just know that you're on the right track and get you a new number as well. So what we're going to do is simply go through this puzzle that I've designed to show you what I mean by a cleaver. A cleaver is a butcher's knife that has a large blade and a handle, and I'll point it out as we go along. But sometimes just by solving one number of a pattern you can get to the end of the puzzle. Not always, but let's see. So we'll get started straight away. Bottom, middle, we're going to have ones over here. Twos, there's only 1, 2, and they can go many spots. Threes, there are no threes. Fours, fours could go in many spots. But I could tell you this though, if I take this 4 and go across, I'm looking at this block here, take that 4 across there, and take this 4 up this way, it means that we could have a 4 here or here. Keep that in mind, you never know. Fives. Well, let's do a cross technique here. We will go across this way. Here's a 5 here and go up that way. That leaves a 5 that could go there or there. Now let's check on that. Oops, we have a 5 down in here, so that cancels out this 5, meaning that this will become our 5. Now what's the ramification of that? Well, we could have a bottom, a top, we could have 2 5s here, we could have 1 there, we could have 1 there. That was handy. Pushing right along. Sixes. Well, we could have a 6 top, bottom, we could have a 6 in here as well, but there's a 6 down here, so this becomes a 6 and this becomes a 5 because 5 could only go there and there. So if that becomes a 5, let's look at the ramifications of that. I'll do the 6 first. Left, center, the 6 has to be down in here, there's a 6 there, so this becomes a 6. What's the ramification of that? Middle, bottom has to be one of these. There's a 6 up there, so this becomes a 6. And now we've got the 6s in here. Okay, that's good. Because of the... I can see other things here. I'll come to that in a minute. Now let's look at the 5s. We have 5, 5, 5. 5, there's a 5 here, center, right, there has to be a 5 in here, but there can't be one there because of that 5, so this becomes a 5. And the ramification of that is top, bottom, we can have 5s in here, but there's a 5 there, so this could be 2 small 5s. Boy, that was very helpful. I can also see we were doing the 6s, although we didn't put new ones in. I'll come to these 6s a little later, but I can see something we can do with the 6s. You may be able to see that too. We're up to 7 up in here. 7, too many spots, no 7s. 8s, 8s, too many spots. 9s, there's 2 9s, there's a middle, there's a bottom, and there's a top. You probably have seen that already. What's the ramification of that down in here? There's no 9s in here. Too many spots there. Okay, let's do these center blocks. Horizontal. 1s. Well, I can do a cross here. See what happens. Cross there and across there leaves you with... Cross there and across there leaves you with 1s. Well, you know, we could put a 1 here and a 1 there. That's okay. 2s. 2s and doing a cross, we can several spots. 3s. Doesn't give you a lot of chances, but I can show you something right here because of the 3. It's so many ways in which you can just use one number out of 3 blocks to get other possible numbers. Here we are with a 3, so that means it can't go there. There's no place for it to go there. So it has to be up in here. So we can put 3 3s in there. And because we've done that, we've got a right, we've got a centre, we can have 2 3 possibilities here. And that's helpful. Okay, 4s. We're doing 3s, 4s, there's no 4s in here. 5s. We've done the 5s, except we don't know what's happening here yet. 6s, well, this is what I saw just now. We have a bottom, we have a top, so it has to be in the middle here. But if I look down here, there's a 6, so it has to be this one. So that becomes a 6, and this now becomes our 1. Now if that becomes our 1, what's the ramification of that? Left, centre, we could have a 1 there, there, or there. We can't have it there because of this one, so we've got 2 places for a 1, so that was really good. Okay, 2s. Again, if I go like this, 2 and 2, we now have only 2 spots that we can put a 2 in, so I can put 1 in there and 1 in there. 3s, we did 3s. 4s. Well, you know, I've just noticed something, and you probably picked this up. When I did the 4s down in here, I forgot to do the 4s somehow. There we did there, 4s, 5s, and I forgot to do the 5s on the cross. Where we missed a whole pile here. Top, bottom, we should have a 5 here and a 5 there. Now, I want to show you what I call the cleaver. This cleaver is found, or the cleaver is always found in 3 blocks, usually in a column, vertical or horizontal. This particular cleaver that I'm going to show you is a vertical cleaver. And if I take this block and this block very quickly, and I'm going to do this so you can see them better. This is the 2 blocks where we have an interesting situation. Whenever you have a situation where you've got 5 5 5 5 in these 2 blocks, and they are, this is important, they are the only places that 5 can go, and we've ascertained that. When you've got that, this is the blade of the cleaver, and this is the handle, so it is your handle of the cleaver. So you've got a cleaver that's got a blade here and a handle there. Whenever you've got this situation, you always know that there's going to be a 5 somewhere in this handle. Now there is today, and we know that that helps us know that it is a cleaver and it's working. How does it work? Let me show you. If this was a 5, then that becomes a 5, and so you get a 5 there. If this was a 5, and therefore that becomes a 5, then you still get a 5 there. And that's one of the many patterns I'm going to point out to you in the next few sessions. I will continue on, and I'll show you some more of these. Now, where was I? We were doing verticals, no, we were doing horizontals here that I didn't get to finish. 8s, we had 7s, too many spots. 8s, no luck. 9s, there's no 9s in here. Now we can do the verticals here. With the 1s are done. The 2, there's a 2 here. Doesn't really help much. 3s, there are no 3s in these verticals. 4s, well, we have 2 4s, and this is interesting. I'm going to put one little 4 in here and another little 4 in there. So we know we have a left, we have a right, we have a center. They're the only 2 4s that can go in this block. That's the only 2 cells that those 2 4s can go in. That's important to remember as we go along. 5s, we've done the 5s, so we see that we don't have much luck with the 5s here. 6s, we've done the 6s. 7s, there are no 7s in here. 8s, and there are no 8s. 9s, well, there's a 9 over here, cross that, there's too many spots for the 9. There are no 9s at all down in there. We'll find them soon, don't worry. Now we'll do the vertical columns here, vertical blocks there. Well, we've done the 1s, 2s. Well, we could have a 2 here and here and here. Too many spots. That was a pun. Too many spots. 3s. 3s. Well, we worked out before, didn't we, that we have a right, a center, and a left here. That's all right. Nothing's happened to help us solve those yet. 4s. Now here is an interesting situation. If I were to, this 4, look at this block in here. If I were to put this 4 there, there's no room for it up here. It's filled up. It's a line of numbers. So therefore, therefore, called the pun, the 4 has to go there or there. It cannot go there or there. It cannot go there because it's already in that column. Cannot there because there's no space there. So therefore, a 4 goes here and here. And there, if based on that, right, left, a 4 has to be here. Okay, now what's the ramification of that? Well, we have a 4 over here. This becomes a 4. If that becomes a 4, we now have an interesting situation, which this is very important what I'm going to show you now. I've just noticed this. This is somewhat unique. There's one thing I find with the Sudoku puzzles. You never get two the same. There's always different techniques and different things that reveal themselves that make it most interesting. I want to show you this, another cleaver. Here's the cleaver. So you may have recognized it, but if you haven't, it doesn't matter. We have this 2 blocks here. So look at those 2 blocks here. We have a 4, 4, and a 4, 4, 4. They are the only places in these 2 blocks where a 4 can go. They're the only two cells in this one, as we mentioned before, and 2 cells in this one can only go there and there. That makes up the blade of a cleaver. So if I take this red pen, I'll mark out the blade. Because in that blade we have 2 blocks in which we have 4, 4, 4, 4. Now the handle of that cleaver is upright, it's over here. This is the handle. And so we know, because of what I explained before, that in that handle there has to be a 4. There has to be a 4. And it happens to be this one. Because the rule basically says that if this is a 4, then that's a 4, that has to be a 4. If this is a 4, then that is a 4, that still has to be a 4. So therefore, got it, this becomes the 4. Now there's another thing I want to point out here. Doesn't always do it this way. What about that cancels out these 2 4s? But these 2 4s are also cancelled out because of the rule of exclusion. In this row here we have 2 4s, and that's the only place they could go in that row, and these 2 blocks. And because of that can be got rid of. And same with that one, rule of exclusion. So you've got 2 ways of looking at that. Very good. Another cleaver. We've got one in here where the blade is this place and the handle is there. Here's another one with the handle up there. The beautiful thing about recognizing a cleaver is that it not only tells you where the number's going to go in the 3rd block, but it also tells you if you're on the right track. It makes sense, like it did in here. Well, let's push on. I was doing, I was doing the vertical columns, vertical blocks here, wasn't I? Let's look at the 5s. 5s are done. 6s are done. 7s, well, then we know, this is interesting, we know up in this block the 7s have to go here, here, or here. Because there's no other where else they can go in this block. Therefore, they're on the right, this is on the left, this becomes the 7. It is this type of scenario happens so many times. Let's push on. 8s. Well, we cannot have an 8 here or here because this 8 stops it from being there. We cannot have an 8 over here because if you have a center, right, it's filled up. Therefore, the only place an 8 can go is here or here. So we'll put those in. 2, 4, 8, 2 and an 8 there. That's interesting. Well, I have just noticed something. You probably noticed it while I've been talking. But in this column, there's only one number left, and I believe it is a 1, 2. It's a 9. So if that is a 9, we do know from left, center, right, we have 2 9s and 1 9 matching pair here. And that's going to help us down the road, I'm sure. Now let's do the vertical blocks here. 1s. Well, because we have this 1 and this 1, the 1s over in this block here have to be there or there. We've got lots of 1 possibilities, haven't we? 2s. Let's look at any. We can't cross any 2s. There's no 2s in here at all. 3s. There's 1 3. Oh, it could go in all kinds of places. But I notice that because we have a 3 and a 7, I'm going to take this opportunity to fill in no, we can't do that yet. We're not sure what's going to be up in here yet. Leave it. 4s, we've got the 4s, center, right, left. 5s, we've got the 5s, center, left, right. 6s, we've got the 6, right, center, left. 7s, 7s, let me see. Not a lot of spaces for 7s. No, there's too many cells, I mean. 8s. 8s, well, here we go. Here we have 8. Could be all sorts of places. Let me see. Let's do a cross check here. See what happens. If I go down here and then I go across there. Oh, that helps us. That really helps us. That becomes an 8, or possibly that could be an 8 because of the cross system technique. And if that's an 8 and this is an 8, we need to have an 8 here or here. That'll help us. Okay, 9s. We have 2 9s. We have a right, we have a left. The 2 9s have to be there and there. Now, once again, I have found another matching, another cleaver. Can you see it? I'll just get another felt pen. Make this a purple one. Here's a cleaver. Can you see it? This block here and this block here has a cleaver. 2 9s, 2 9s. So we'll put a line along here. Oh, it went dry on me. Try the other side. We'll put 2 lines here. We want one across here. It's getting a bit busy now, isn't it? This is the blade of the cleaver, taking up those 2 blocks. It's found in those 2 blocks, the 9 9 9 9. And we know from the rules of a cleaver that if you've got a 9 9 9 9, one of these has to be a 9. So we can put, I'll use this colour just to show you how it works. And that becomes a matching pair. But if I look carefully around the puzzle, I think I saw, yes, here it is, a 9 is up here. So that gets rid of this 9 and therefore this becomes an 8, and this becomes a 9, and if the cleaver rule with the pattern still works. Now that is as far as I'm going to go on this session, because I wanted to show you the cleaver and the importance of the cleaver, how to recognize it, how it works, as well as the fact that it can give you lots of new numbers, or to let you know that you're really on the right track. Now you could finish this puzzle off yourself very easily, because if you look carefully, there are places that have only got 2 or 3 cells left. Hope you've enjoyed this puzzle and this session where we covered recognizing cleavers. Bye for now.